So Len is a member of my Patreon, and for his special shout out custom video request, he has asked that we obviously go for a little car drive, have a little chat, have a little ramble, but more specifically talking about the Isle of Man. Like, he wants to know, I guess, the geography of the Isle of Man, just bits and pieces about the island. But I thought I would add my own little twist to it and do like a little fun fact session as well. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy it, Len, and I hope you guys all enjoy it too. So some of the stuff obviously I know myself with me living here and being born here, all that, but other things I've just googled as well, just because like everything I googled I did know, but I just wanted to like compile a list. So I think I've got about 15 odd facts, like just weird interesting things about the island that I've just put together just for ease. So we probably will pull up somewhere at some point. Like, I think we'll head to our special spot now where I usually film, and yeah, we'll go from there. But anyway, let's just jump straight in, guys. So for those of you who don't know, like, I've spoken so much about this, but I'm from the Isle of Man. So the Isle of Man is a very small little island, and it's in between England and Ireland in the middle of the Irish Sea. So we have like, so we're not part of the UK, but we are part of Great Britain. So what that means is, like, we have basically our own parliament, we have our own government, we have our own currency here, our own laws, our own language, although it is like a dying breed now. No, I don't know anyone who speaks the language anymore. Like, I think kids still learn it in school, but I don't know, it's like an endangered language, I guess. I think we used to speak it, like it was the language to speak hundreds of years ago, but now yeah, no one speaks it. I don't even know, like, I know one word, and it's Moramai, and that means good morning. And I mean, like, obviously there's some like places, well, like all the places on the island are Manx words. So Manx, M-A-N-X, that means that if you're Manx, it means that you're from the Isle of Man. So I am Manx. I wouldn't say I'm British or English. I would like specifically say I am Manx. So what was I saying? So yeah, so yeah, we have our own like stuff going on. So we're not part of Great Britain, we're part of our own little island, and we follow like UK stuff basically, and we have like, so like we can use the English money, we follow like English law and their government policies, but we do have our own. So our parliament is the oldest parliament in the whole wide world, and I don't know how long it's been going for, but how long it is, we're the oldest one, and our parliament is called Tinwald. And I don't know if this is true, but apparently it was founded by like a Viking thousands of years ago, or whenever the Vikings ruled, and he came up with the idea to like put this together. I don't know, but that's where it stemmed from. So that's the Isle of Man. So, and I guess the geography side of it, so obviously there's so many places on our little island, but I am currently so the capital is a place called Douglas. That's where I live, and the capital prior to it being Douglas was a place called Castletown. But I don't know why we changed it. Like, it used to be Castletown since the dawn of time, for years and years, but then it did get changed to Douglas, I guess because it's the most popular, like most people live there, I don't know, but it is Douglas. I used to live, and that's like the east of the island. Castletown's down south, very, very safe. Like the whole island, that's one thing I'll say, is like being rated the most safest place to live in the world. I don't know if it's the #1 safest place, but it's definitely up there, like maybe even top 3. I don't know. Certainly the most safest place to live in Great Britain anyway. There's no crime at all. Like, obviously there's crime, but there's no like serious crime. Hardly ever. Yeah, so it's extremely safe. So like my childhood was just basically spent just outside at like the local park. I used to live about like 5 minutes from the local park, so me and all my friends, we would just go there like straight from school. Like we could play out just whenever, like it didn't matter. There was no like curfew or anything. It was just when, I guess when the street lights came on, that's when you knew it was time to go home for tea or whatever. But very, very safe place to live. So yeah, right now we're in a place called Onken, so it's just on the outskirts of Douglas. Yeah, it's Onken. Like there's not much to it. It's actually quite big though, Onken. Like you didn't realise. Usually these are just like passing through villages, I guess, but it's actually quite big. Just I don't know. I only found, because like coming from like the north of the island, obviously like I mean it's about a 20-minute drive from like Douglas to Ramsey, and what you do is you can, there's 3 ways you can get through it. So you could either drive over the mountain road, which basically you drive over a mountain, and our mountain, it's called, we have one mountain and it's called Snaefell, and it's not even a mountain, it's like just a very, 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 very big hill. So you can drive that way. You can drive the coast road, which is like what it is, you drive on the coast. Alright guys, I just had to pull in because the phone holder for the car keeps like dropping down, so we're just gonna sit here and just chill, have little smokes and just do the vid from here. So I've just pulled in, I'm still on Onken, I'm just like on the Onken Coast Road. So yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna have to try and fix that. But anyway, back to where I was. So yes, there's 3 ways to get to the north of the island basically. So the mountain road, like I said, which is a mountain, although it's just a massive, it's not even massive, it's just a very, very, very big hill. And you can like get the tram up it, it's really cute, there's like a cafe on top, and I would drive that twice a day, 5 days a week to get to work. When I lived in Ramsey, I work in Douglas, so I'd have to drive that, and yeah, very annoying. And it's always foggy and misty up there, like it's really, it's horrible on the mountain road, and it's very windy. And yeah, so the other way you can go is the coast road, and that one, it takes you through Laxey, being the main like halfway point, and it's a really pretty scenic route. It's like goes through all the towns and villages along the way. It's takes longer, but it's yeah, it's pretty. It's like you just follow the coast around basically, so you have like the sea there, it's really nice. But yeah, it takes a long time. I don't really like that way, just for the time it takes. And then the other way you can go is on the other side of the island, on that coast, and that's Peel. So yeah, it's probably the longest way to get to the north of the island, because it's like you'd start in Douglas on the east, and then you drive over to the west to get to that coast, and then you would then drive down that coast to get to the north. So but yeah, it's very pretty as well that way. Obviously you've got the other side of the island, so you've got that sea, you can see the sea from there, and they have really nice beaches there on that side. And that's where you have the Devil's Elbow. So I think I spoke about this actually in one of my other videos. It's like this really sharp like cliff edge, and it's like a corner that you go around, that you drive around. And like we have a superstition here that you can't speak when you go around the Devil's Elbow, because you will get really, really bad luck. So can't speak. We can't even have the radio on. It has to be stone cold silence. If you speak, you'll basically get bad luck forever. You'll get like in a car wreck, you'll get just bad stuff happen to you. So so I think that's like fact one of the island. So yeah, well, I'll just ad lib, see what happens. But I do have a little list here, like I said. Okay, so the next thing is obviously the most famous thing about the island is the TT motorbike races we have, which I'm sure if anyone says what's the Isle Man about, people will say motorbikes. So yes, we do. We have the TT races, which is like 2 weeks out of the year. Like loads and loads and loads of people come over to the island to race their motorbikes, and TT stands for Tourist Trophy. So it's been going on for like 100 years. I'm sure they just celebrated like 100 years or something like a couple of years ago. But yeah, it's so much fun. Like, I love it. Like, I'm not really into like watching the races. Like, I'll watch like a couple, but the first week is like the practice week where they just get used to it, and then obviously they have the main race week, and they just shut it. Like, it's kind of annoying, especially when you have to get to work. Like, it's not so bad for me now because I walk to it, but when I used to drive to it, they'd like shut the roads, because like the racetrack is just our roads, like just that we drive on every day. So yeah, there's like road closures and stuff obviously when the races are on, when they're practicing. But it's really fun. Like, we get like the fair comes over, we have like music, like just drinks and all like just really fun vibes, and the weather's usually really good for it as well. It's like the last week of May and the first week of June, so it's coming up very, very soon. I'm very, very excited, although I'm going to be away in Bulgaria for like the first couple of days of it, but I'll be here for race week, and I've got a day or two off work because we have bank holidays as well for it. So everyone gets May Day off, but then we have another bank holiday just for the Isle of Man, which is like, it's like in the middle. It's not May Day, it's the last weekend of May, and then we have one in June called Senior Race Day. So it's just, yeah, it's so much fun. So yeah, they have the motorbike races, and then they have the sidecar races as well. Very, very dangerous sport. Like, there's always deaths, unfortunately. It's just like inevitable. Like, there's going to be crashes. It's like really is brutal. Like, you really have to have like a heart of, I don't know, steel. I don't know what the term is, but you've got to be very, very brave to do these races. They get up to speeds of like 200 miles per hour plus. It's crazy. It's very, very crazy, but it is fun to watch them whizzing around. So they go, they basically, the race course is basically the whole of the island. They start at the grandstand, which is in Douglas, and then they go all down south from there, and then they twist it back round, go to the west coast, which is through Peel, Kirkmichael, and then they go through Ramsey and then over the mountain and then back to the grandstand. So it doesn't, like, there's loads of little places in between which they do, and but yeah, it's crazy. It really is crazy. They go through like Sulby, all sorts of places. I'm not sure how many laps they do, to be honest. I'm not sure, but they get round it in like 5 minutes. Like, it's nuts. They absolutely zoom through. But the island itself, it's just to give you a bit of perspective, it's 33 miles long and 13 miles wide, so it's very, very small. And then the population, I think we're probably about 85 to 90,000 people. I did write this down here because I didn't really know. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's us. Yeah. So yeah, that's the T2. Okay, the next little fun fact I have is, so we have two, it's random, we have two castles on the Isle of Man. One is called Peel Castle and the other one is called Castle Rushen, and they're still standing, like they're proper castles. They're obviously a bit worn and torn, but you can still go in them and like walk around them, you can explore them, and they still have all like the, like, I'm not very good with Manx history. I'm actually not a massive fan of Manx history. I know I shouldn't say that, I should be very patriotic and everything, but I don't really know or care to know too much about it. I know I'm trying to it's probably not what you want to hear. I'm trying to pick up the Isle of Man, but to me it's I find it quite, I don't know, boring. But I guess it's not the island I find boring, it's the way we are taught the education of the Isle of Man boring. Like the museums we have, for example, here of Manx history just absolutely bore me to tears, because like I just go to a museum, like going off topic here, but go to a museum anywhere else in the world, it's interactive, it's cool, like I don't know, like I love going to museums, I love learning about history, but over here it's just, yeah, it's awful. It really is awful. But yeah, so as far as the castles go, yeah, you can walk around them, you can explore them. They have like the cannons still there, and they have like the little peeky out holes where they used to shoot the bow and arrows through, and they've kind of made it like museum-y, if that's even the right word. The tram's gonna come past now. Cute. That's our tram that goes from Douglas through Laxey, and that'll take you up to the mountain I was just talking about, Snaefell. I'm glad we caught that, that's cute. So yeah, what was I saying? So the castles, yeah, we've got them, and then we also, moving on to like the next fact, I guess, is that the Isle of Man, we are extremely superstitious. We believe here in fairies, ghosts, we have all sorts of like legends and myths, I guess, surrounding that. So there's one ghost that we have, which is a dog. His name's Mad Maudie Doo, and he actually guards Peel Castle. So he's like a big black scary wolf-like dog. So yeah, that's one of the ghosts we have. We of course have the fairy bridge where all our fairies live, and that's on a road, basically it's like, where is it? It's like on the way to the airport, which means nothing to you, but it's like south-ish, and yeah, it's like this little bridge, stone bridge, and you have to drive over it. When you drive over it, you have to say hello fairies. If you don't, you'll get very, very, very bad luck. Like, it is, I mean, I'm not a superstitious person really, but I mean, there are things that I just have to do here because it's just been ingrained in me since birth. You have to say hello to the fairies. And another thing that we can't say is the word R-A-T, and which I know you can all spell, so you know what I'm trying to say, but we cannot say that. It is, we just get very, very bad luck. If you say it, you have to whistle straight afterwards and pat your head. It sounds crazy, but we call them instead longtails or ringies. So yeah, we are strange in that sense of, with just so many superstitious things. I don't even know where that stemmed from, why we can't say that word, but you just can't say it. Like, you will, if someone came over and didn't know and they said it, the gasps, oh god, you would, I don't know, you'd be shunned. So just a little heads up, if you ever come to the Isle of Man, do not say that word. So what else? Oh yeah, so we also have this other thing. It's like a demon ghost thing, and it's called the Begain. And it's basically, the story of that is, there was this church, where's the church? I can't remember where it is now, But basically there was this church that we tried to build over here like hundreds of years ago, and we were getting to the last bit, trying to build the roof, and we kept trying to build the roof, but it's kind of like the Three Little Pigs and the wolf, the big bad wolf. Every time we built the roof, it'll get blown down. There'd be like a massive storm, get blown down, and just didn't do it. We had 3 attempts of that, trying to build this roof, and we just couldn't do it for whatever reason. People say it was this demon thing called the Begain. This person, demon, didn't want it built. I don't know why. And so yeah, he'd just keep blowing down this roof. So now basically people have never tried, because it's very superstitious now, and we daren't touch this church roof. So we just have this empty church with everything done apart from a roof. So that's just sitting there. And yeah, people won't touch it because they're scared it's like cursed now. So there we go. Okay, what else is there? So the next thing, I guess kind of following it on, is back in the day we had, we believed that we had witches. So there's this famous witch called Ginny the Witch, and she, I don't know if she was real or just a legend, but we sing, like for Halloween and stuff, we sang like about Ginny the Witch. And we actually call Halloween here Hot Tune, which is just Manx for Halloween, I guess. So we sing about her, but we used to like roll down, we used to like hang witches here. It's not very nice at all. And like roll witches in a barrel down the hill. And then the hill is called, I did write it down, it's called Slú Willin, which basically means Witch's Hill. So anyone who we believed was a witch, we would put them in a barrel and roll them down the hill. And then we also, there's like these gallows still in, I think they're in a place called Port Erin, and you could see it when you drive by. It's just by the side of the road. It's like these gallows, and it's like where we used to hang these witches. And there's like a plaque there which was like, it talks about the last 2 witches which were killed here. So it was a mother and her son, and they were, yeah, hung, unfortunately. So very, very superstitious, weird place. And also, if you think witches were bad, we also have a vampire grave. So I only actually discovered this myself, like, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. Never knew this existed, but my friend took me there. We were just on a walk and he said, do you want to go and see the vampire? I was like, what are you on about? Anyway, he took me, it's like this cemetery, but in this cemetery there's this grave, there's this grave, and it's all chained up, and it's got like stakes, and just, it's just completely chained. And then I've got the story here actually. So basically, there was this couple called Mr. and Mrs. Hassel, and the locals thought that Mr. Hassel was a vampire when he let out a scream during his wake. So he just screamed one day, basically. So when he died, they buried him, drove a stake through his heart, and then put a stone slab over the grave, iron stakes into the ground, and then draped it in heavy chains, because they believed he was a vampire. So yeah, you can obviously go and visit that grave. It's in a place called Maloo, which is just near a place called Balasala. So yeah, very strange. Vampires, witches, fairies, ghosts, you name it. We've got all the random folklore and legends here. Okay, so moving on, the next fact I have is so I guess going back to just what the island's about. So we've got, so over 40% of the island is unpopulated. So basically we have just, I mean, I've shown you when I've gone on our little walks together. We've got beaches, we've got glens, forests, waterfalls, just so much pretty nature, lots of farming land. So I really appreciate, that's what I really love about the island. Like, it is still very much natural habitat. It's really, really nice places to go and explore and stuff. And then also we have like these dark sky spots, like viewing spots. So you can see, on a clear night, you can see the Milky Way, you can see the Northern Lights. So that's really cool. They have like these little areas in like the deeps of the glen where you can just, and they have like little kind of wooden beds where you can just like chill out and look up at the sky, and you can see the stars like really clearly, the Milky Way, everything. Like, it's so pretty. So I thought that's really cool, actually. Like, who would have thought you'd see the Northern Lights from here? Okay, next up we have, oh, let's talk about the animals. So you may or may not know about the Manx cats we have. So we have these cats and they have no tails. And I don't know how, I think it's just some sort of mutation way back when, but now we do have cats here, and they either have no tail at all, it's just like flat, or they just have a teeny little stump. And they are Manx cats, obviously. They're just, I mean, I think you can get them now wherever you want them, but they are native to the Isle of Man. So yeah, all my, like, I've got so many friends who have them. They're really cute, but I'm not really a cat person, to be honest, but they are cute. It's just weird seeing like an animal like that with no tail. It's pretty strange. And then we also have these types of sheep called Lockton sheep, and they have horns. They have 4 to 6 horns, and they're all like check them out, they're really cool. They're like, their horns all twist up and round, and they're native to the Isle of Man as well. They're very rare though, I think. You don't see that many anymore. Very, very strange horns on them. Okay, and then another thing is we also have a whole, this is so random, we have a whole wild population of wallabies. So basically we have a wildlife park, and we're all like basically like a very, very mini zoo. And back in the 70s, I think, a whole bunch of wallabies escaped from the wildlife park and just went into like the forests behind, and obviously didn't get caught. So now we have over 100 wallabies just running wild in the forests, basically. So there is this place you can go, it's like the Viewing Wallaby Park, and you can go and see them just jump in, running about, and just living their lives, basically. So that's pretty cool. Okay, next up, this is random, but we have, I don't know where I wrote this, but I just thought this was a nice little fact. We used to have a Manx giant here. So there was this guy who lived in Sulby back in like the 1800s, and he was 7 foot 11 inches tall. And now in his memory we have his hand size. We have like a little statue of his hand in because he used to work as a gardener in Sulby and like trim the roses and just, yeah, looked after the gardens there. So like a memorial hand we have, and you can go and see it, and like everyone just compares their hand to it. It's massive, it's like to scale. It's really cool. So yeah, 7 foot 11 inches. I don't know what the record is. I feel like that's nowhere near what the record is, but that is pretty tall, I must say. So he's a little legend. I can't remember his name now, but I'm sure if you Google Manx Giant, you could find more about him. He is in one of our museums as well. There's a little bit of history in one of our museums about him. Okay, so next up we have, oh yeah, the Bee Gees. The Bee Gees are from the Isle of Man. Everyone thinks they're Australian, but they actually were born here on the island. I'm a massive Bee Gees fan, and we actually have a a statue, like full life-size statues of the brothers on our promenade in Douglas. And that was just done. That was only like maybe 3 years old, but it's, yeah, it's lovely. It's really nice. But yes, they were born here and they did live here for a while before they emigrated to Australia. So yeah, just a little fun fact about them. Massive fan of their music, and yeah, they did really well. I'm trying to think of other famous people from the Isle of Man. Oh, there's the actress and singer Samantha Barks. If you've heard of her, she was in Les Mis, and she was in, like, she's done incredibly well. She had her own Broadway show in New York, playing Pretty Woman, playing the lead role in that. She's done other songs, like she's more like theatre and stuff, but she's incredible. She's done really well. And we also have Mark Cavendish, the cyclist. He's from here. Oh, and also what's his name? That boy who is in Heartstoppers on Netflix. Oh, I can't remember his name now, but he's from the Isle of Man as well. He plays the lead role in that Netflix show, which was so good. Like, I highly recommend watching that. It was a really good show, actually. I think they're making series 2 of that. But yeah, he played the lead in that. So I can't remember his name. It's really embarrassing. Can't remember his name at all, but he was yeah, he was really good in that anyway. And yeah, he's going on. I think he's just signed with Disney now to do a movie. So he's doing very, very well. Okay, so next we have, so there's this really cool place here, and it's called Magnetic Hill. And basically you drive your car to this hill and you put it in neutral, your car, take the handbrake off, and it feels like you're driving backwards up the hill. I guess it's hard to explain, but it's just an optical illusion. I don't know how it works, but it's, yeah, it feels like you are driving. It's like your car's obviously staying still, but it feels like you are going uphill even though you're stationary. So I don't know what's causing that, but it's just a cool little quirky place that we have here, which we visit. Like, the kids love it. So yeah, Magnetic Hill. And then we have another little fun fact is, so this kind of ties in maybe with like the TT and stuff, but we have no speed limit here for driving. We do obviously in like the little towns and villages and stuff, there's speed limits, but once you're on like the country roads, there's no speed limit. You can literally go as fast or as slow as you want. Like on the mountain road, for example, no speed limit. And yeah, people think that they are, I don't know, Schumacher, and they absolutely bomb it over there. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do like to drive fast as well, but some of these speeds of just these regular people, I mean, there's no speed limit. You're not gonna get a ticket. Go as fast as you feel you want to go. So yeah, there's that. It's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of good, kind of bad, I guess. I think there's people are like for and against it here, but I guess it's nice having that freedom to decide what you want to do, and it's just whatever you're capable of doing, what you're comfortable with. But it also goes the other way as well. Like, it's so annoying when you're on the mountain road and there's like a little old lady, little granny driving like 20 miles per hour, and it's like, come on, like, go on the coast road. You don't need to be on the mountain for this. But then on the other hand, you're driving along, I don't know, maybe doing 70, and then you have this car or a motorbike or whatever just absolutely taking over you, because it's quite, there's like this one stretch called the Mountain Mile where it's just a mile of straight road, so you can get up some speed there, but the rest of it is quite bendy, so it is quite dangerous. And then, like I said earlier, it can get really foggy up there. Like, it could be a gorgeous day like it is today, but that mountain, it'll be misty, and yeah, like, I've driven it where it's just been awful. fog, and it's very scary because it feels like you're on a mountain. It feels like you're going to go like over the side, and it is. Like, so many people have just fallen in their cars down. Unfortunately, there's been so many accidents and crashes and people killed and all sorts. So you just gotta, just don't show off, basically. Just do what you are capable of doing, and yeah, just drive safe. So that's the mountain, and yeah, the cool thing about no national speed limit. And then another thing we have here is we have like boat races. So there's two separate races that we have. One is called the Viking longboat races, and I've done this actually once before, and you just have a giant Viking boat and you just racing it. So you get a team. So I actually did it with my friends. My friend worked at her company, because it's more like companies and businesses do it with like their staff. So I just hopped in with her. She just asked who could do it. You didn't have to work there. You just invite whoever you want. So we went in, and then yeah, you have to like basically row, and then there's someone in your team is up front like shouting like go and like left, right, whatever. So that's fun. That's in Peel. And then there's also this other race we have called the tin bath races, where it's basically is what it is. You have a tin bath, like a bathtub made out of tin, and you have to row this little race course in the sea, and hopefully you don't sink, and that's all for charity, so it's fun. So yeah, just cute little races. And then I guess the last thing I have is about, I don't know why I'm ending with this, but I just thought I'd add it in. So the Isle of Man is also very much a tax haven as well. So yeah, a lot of people do their business here purely for that reason. I think the taxes average is about, I think we pay like 10% tax, so it's very, very, very good. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you're wealthy, it's very, very good. I know a lot of like celebrities and like rich people like come here to do their taxes, have property here just for that reason alone, set up their businesses here and whatnot for that purpose. So, and it's good for just like the everyday person as well. Obviously we don't have, I mean, we complain, but really I think we take it for granted, because like in the England or whatever, I know the taxes are crazy, and I'm sure in many other parts of the world as well they are very high. So yeah, we're very lucky here actually that they are only 10%, so it's really nothing, I guess. So yeah, I think that's it really, guys, of my little fun facts. I'm sure there's so many more things to talk about the island. Yeah, I mean, I do really like it here, I must say. Like, especially when the weather's like this, like it's really is a nice place to live. It's very safe. Someone commented on one of my videos the other day, actually, in one of my car videos, saying to make sure I keep my doors locked when I'm in my car, which was really cute. But I mean, you do not have to worry about that at all. Like, many people just leave their car doors open, their houses, even the houses open. Like, the crime is so low, nothing like that would ever happen. But I thought it was very sweet nonetheless. But yeah, I am very, very safe here. So yeah, it's a safe place to live. It's a really pretty place to live. And yeah, I do kind of like all the little weird little bits of history and all the legends and myths and quirky things we have. There's so many more. Like, when I went to America for the kids who I was looking after there, I bought them this book of like Manx fairy tales and stuff. So I'll see if I can get that, because there's some just really cute little stories about like our legends, our fairies, like our flag. It's if you've seen it, it's a red flag and it's got 3 legs on it. It's called the 3 legs of man. So this flag is called Triskelion, and our motto is, whichever way you throw me, I will always stand. So there's a story in this book I've just remembered, and it's about Triskelion and how he came to be with his 3 legs and stuff. So just fun little stories. And there's also one about a Manx cat, of how, like, what happened to his tail, like how he became a cat, the cat with no tail, stuff like that. So I'll see if I can find it. It'll be quite fun to read. But yeah, guys, again, a big thank you to you, Len. I know it wasn't quite what you asked for, but I still hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Just talking about the island. And yeah, if any of you guys have any questions, want me to do another video on this in more detail, or I don't know, anything else you want to know, I can certainly put one together. But thank you, Len, so much for all your love and support on here and on Patreon. If you guys want to join my Patreon, get your own special shout out video request, I will leave the link to it in the description below. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed nonetheless, and if you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Please comment down below. I love hearing from all of you, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you so much. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening or night, whatever time you're watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you soon.